Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2. Today we have a very hype match between Chexhuman and Megawatt, and one that sadly had to be rescheduled because one of the runners had power issues last night, but I am very happy that we are able to. And today I am joined on commentary by, and thank you very much for volunteering. I will hand it over to you.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm Recedador, and we are again watching a Chexhuman versus Megawatt match. They seed 14 and 19 respectively. Both did pretty well in the qualifiers. Uh, Chexhuman defeated Sabatinder, I believe, and I had a Megawatt was I had it, but I'll look it up in a minute. Anyway, I'm joined here by Jinxie. How are you today?
Hello, I'm good. Excited to see this match. It's going to be a great team up, I think. Definitely both equal skill levels here.
And I'll eventually figure out who Megawatt defeated. The scroll options on the bracket are really garbage. But meanwhile, we're going to see a Sanctuary start from Chexhuman, and he's in the Lost Woods, so it's not the worst Sanctuary spot. But Megawatt's going to fake flipper up here to check the Dark Witch's Hut, or check the regular Witch's Hut, and see what's in this drop down, and probably Houlihan for money, which he probably doesn't need to do as such today because we got a 20 rupee crab drop.
Oh, and Bonkrock's chest in the witch's hut with nothing exciting. Magic Bat on Aga 1 today.
All right, well, that's always nice and ambiguous. That's going to be something on their mind if they get all the pieces for that. We got Ice Palace in the Lumberjack, I think it was, which gives us the hints that there's a connector in that one house by the Dark World Lake. All right, and I finally got the bracket to scroll properly, and it was incoherent who Megawatt defeated earlier. The winner of this match goes on to face Korek, so that's going to be an exciting match.
Ganon's going to be over in the useless fairy drop today.
Looks like we had a full magic tree pool. That's pretty handy.
Yeah, that's definitely nice to find early on.
And locked by the glove, we have the Lumberjack drop down, which is just a compass, so we don't need to worry about that. Put that out of our...
Ooh, nice early potion shop in the Light World Hype Cave entrance.
Yeah, that's a pretty great place for that because at some point you may get the mushroom to turn in, or you may want to buy potions or something, and the potion shop can end up in a lot of stupid places, but luckily that's very accessible. Check's finding Ganon and opting to not Houlihan, I think, because he knows the big 20s are in the bush crab, so he's going to go check out the Witch's Hut.
Oh, and Kakariko well over in Hyrule Castle.
Well, that's 5 immediate items. He does have 2 bombs, so he can get all of them. He won't have to come back for that. So far, most of the best drops have been found, and we just have the ambiguousness of having Magic Bat at the Lumberjack, which has been known to have progression every once in a while. The main problem with that is the dead last thing you're going to end up.
Oh, and we get to see what's in the back of Escape and in the well.
back of escape was garbage, but we do have a small Ganon's Tower key on the first chest of the well. Got another small Ganon's Tower key.
Wow.
We're starting to get a picture, and it's spelled GT. Silver arrows, that's also a nice grab. Get those off your mind early. And they don't have a bow, so they can't do a heck of a lot with it. But it's just nice to have. Looks like Megawott gonna immediately check the back of escape while Chexhuman takes his place over in the well. So far we haven't seen any runner go towards Kakariko, which has the biggest concentration of entrances to start the game. They may be trying to see if they can find something good before they go that way. It's always nice to find the flute ahead of time, but we haven't found that yet. I think Megawatt may be going there. And the main thing they're going to do is scout out and see what items they have, what connectors they have there. They're probably not going to go through connectors too fast unless they find Moon Pearl. And we found Ganon's Tower.
Wow. They are getting all the goods early, finding Ganon, Ganon's Tower, and the potion shop. That is so rare for me.
Yeah, these two keys tell me that it wouldn't be entirely surprising to see, well, unless we have a third one, two keys would indicate that you could go to the right side pretty easily without breaking logic. So it could be a cane fire rod situation. But it's always intriguing to get that many GT keys and also find GT that early, so I wouldn't be really surprised to see something.
Yeah, definitely.
Gonna have to find a couple more pieces, obviously, but at least they know where it is. It's easy to get to, and it didn't really get anything of worth out of the two available chests to map for some information.
Oh, and King's Tomb on Megawatt's side.
Alright, well, we got a small Skullwoods key, which is helpful for routing. Doesn't really do anything else for you other than, if you're into figuring out the logical puzzles, because you do require both of those keys in order to kill Mothula according to the game, because key logic is always set on maximum dumb settings to prevent you from key locking yourself out of any given. And Megawatt, knowing where Ganon is just going to go ahead and try to save a few seconds and drop right into this drop. The only way this costs is if it's the fairy, and it is the uncle.
So at least we know Useless Fairy is on top of Agatu.
Have we seen the magic bat yet, though?
Yeah, magic bat is.
No, what's at the magic bat.
But we haven't seen that yet.
So we're missing the thief and the fairy, I think, is what we're missing.
Yeah, I was getting ahead of myself there.
It is nice to have it reduced to those two, at least for Aghanim 2, because you know that there's only a maximum of one item beyond Aghanim 2. If anything, it's going to make it a little less appealing than having the well.
Yeah, knowing the well is in one of those two spots, it just sits there in the back of your mind, kind of marinates.
Bottle vendor giving us a 1 rupee return for our 100 rupee investment. But we did see Spike Cave, which we could get a little bit later, and we found a hint that Ice Palace entrance is a connector, so we may not have to check.
Oh, so it is Last Woods Thief on Agatu.
Well, that turns the climb into 5 items instead of 4, so that... We do have a question in chat. Yes, Ganon can in fact be in his vanilla spots. Ganon is going to be in one of the 8 drops, one of them being, of course, the normal spot in the pyramid.
Wow, did you see that connector over at the Blindsmith Hut? Takes you right to Dark Kakariko Village.
I did. That is a nice connector to find. Connectors to that part of the Dark World are always super valuable because it lets you access a lot of things. It also opens up quite a few bunny possibilities.
And the back of Skullwood so far, just with.
And for those who may not watch Crossworld Keysanity too much, as you can see, entrances go between the light and the dark world, and keys are pretty much anywhere. And regarding bunny logic, you can be required to do certain things as a bunny in order to get your moon pearl. Link can talk to NPCs such as the man in Hype Cave or Sick Kid, or even Sahasrahla if you want to get like real crazy. He can push blocks, so if you were to find Checkerboard Cave, you would be able to push the blocks there to get whatever is in there. And if you you can also travel through certain connectors to get to other parts of the world, and you can also mirror in random places. So you can do all of those things as a bunny to either get your moon pearl or lead to your moon pearl by getting another object such as a hookshot. Things of note, we found Turtle Rock Front, which told us that some part of desert is at Turtle Rock. So if we find the main part of desert and all the connectors go elsewhere, then we know that Turtle Rock has desert back. But it could also be a connector situation where one part of desert goes up to the Dark Death Mountain and we have a way up there with.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice connector to find, especially if you have that mirror before you come out. And I think it said the main entrance of desert. So you could come out there and do a couple checks. And if you have mirror, that's all of Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's just Turtle Rock main, so I think it's ambiguous. It can mean either the back or the one of the 3 exits. It's any of the 4 exits, so we may need a little bit of time before we figure that out. So the hint system, for those maybe not familiar with it, in entrance, it has the 14 hint tiles that are in dungeons and in that one cave that we saw. Also, there are 5 storytellers, NPCs that you can get hints from that tell you things like that, and there's a number of bad entrances or items that are on the list that take a while to get to that you can get as hints. Meanwhile, Chex is going to go straight to the Dark World and do a little sequence breaking, doing a little bit of Dungeon Bunny Revival, which turns you back into Link if you die. Not in logic, but you could possibly find some good things doing this.
And Hookshot Cave found down on Megawatt's screen.
Yep, Hookshot Cave would be one of those places that people forget pretty easily when they find the hookshot. That's I think that's one of the number 1 like forgotten return places. Looks like he's gonna go ahead and check it out because he's sort of at the end of our.
Yeah, race game not having anything today.
Chexhuman so far only getting a small key to Misery Mire out of Skullwood, so not that great. And Megawott has found our Ice Palace connect.
That could be kind of nice later to get that dark shopping mall check. That always kind of an out of the way location.
Check's able to lift these pots because as soon as you drop down, you get another glitch known as Super Bunny. So you are able to lift pots and open chests. It doesn't last, or it doesn't work once you get damaged, as he just demonstrated there. So he's going to go ahead and die and finish checking his link. He should be able to get pretty much all the chests out of the middle of Skullwoods here, and he has now got the second Skullwoods key, so technically Mothula's in logic as soon as we find a fire rod and a sword. Well, and a moon pearl in this case, since that's where that was located. Megawatt, meanwhile, going to go to the Eastern Palace area, which is the one of the more standard checks when you don't have a glove in the light world and you're trying to clean up the light world because you hope to find a glove before you go.
Yeah, orphaning those locations, especially without the flute, are never fun.
Yeah, it is a fairly long walk to the South Shore area when you have to go there, especially when you have to go there multiple times because that's your only connector anywhere. Luckily, that's not the case for them here, but that it feels painful to make that walk, especially more than. We did get a key to Desert Palace, so once we find that, that's two more items that they can get.
It's definitely a nice key to find early. So you're not tempted to steal the key from the back should you find the back at Desert.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, Paradox Cave.
Yeah, this is going to be. He's got doesn't have a lot of health, but he only has bombs. But if you place 2 bombs in a certain couple of spots, as soon as you walk in the room with the mini mold arms, generally you can get all 3 of them before you have a problem.
Mirror. Nice.
It's winner's bracket round 3. He knows he can get back in there with the mirror, so he's going to check this out, which was a little dicey. It could have cut him off if it was a rock blocked or anything. But he did find the top of Hyrule Castle.
In the back end of Bumper Cave.
Yeah, they can get through that with a hook shot or the cape, depending. It is in logic to get through with the hook shot. One of those things that people who don't run entrance very often tend to learn to their detriment in a seat or two at the beginning of their entrance.
Interestingly enough, Megawatt with that mirror and now a sword, he could take that connector over to the Ice Palace entrance and mirror and actually get that flipper lock location, which could have our Moon Pearl. I've seen trolley things like that happen.
Yeah, for me, every time I see an early mirror, I start to get I start to just assume that there's going to be some bunny shenanigans because mirror is one of those things that opens up quite a bit in the dark world via just walking up to various spots in mirror.
Yeah, definitely.
Meanwhile, Chexhuman is walking the same way, so he's probably going to end up in Paradox Cave sooner rather than later. Also, I always think it's kind of fun to see your first weapon able to take care of the mold arms, besides bombs, being behind the mini mold arms. It's just one of those dumb entrance things that can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, apparently there was a dark cave on the way into Eastern that I missed.
Yeah, neither runner really checked it out. Of course, without a weapon, it's really hard. These runners have some excellent connectors so far in this
Yep.
game.
And they've got a mirror. Of course, Megawatt has already found out that his mirror is not really going to do him a heck of a lot of good in this particular section of the world because he already found his way to those spots. The mirror does allow you to do a certain Super Bunny sequence break that can help you while you're scouting items in an area to prevent you from leaving behind, depending on what item caves you find, of course. Like this one, he could get 4 items out of, but he cannot get the 5th one because it would require you to use a bomb. But that is 4 immediately available items. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, no, especially with it being in such a trolley location. That's without your hammer and flute. Getting back to that area is quite a trek.
And I don't know exactly how well he's doing at that glitch because I can't see him right now. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I can't see him either.
So if he got anything good, we may have to wait a little bit to find out. Oh, I see him, but then like the both runners are remembering that you can get bombs out of Paradox Cave. So that's oh, he got boot.
Looks like boots, yeah.
Well, that was a pretty valuable sequence break in that case. Speaking of sequence breaking, we have Turtle Rock's Laser Bridge here in the Flute 5 Light World. So without a invulnerability item, this is not going to be in logic either, but most people are pretty good at getting these items here. Like the Big Key of Turtle Rock on Laser Bridge, a fun little quirk of entrance or Big Key to Swamp. And the Big Key to Skullwood. So one valuable key and 2 fetch quest keys here in Turtle Rock Laser Bridge. The Laser Bridge of Big Key. Judging by Megawatt's tracker, he may have also gotten an Ice Palace small key in that room. I'm not really sure. Boots being, of course, the major thing to get out of there. I think Chex, if he goes down there, will probably do the same sequence break and end up the same with the same. Although he's in the castle now, so if he wants to take a connector, this could in fact take him off that path, depending on where it goes. This could be an interesting little logic quirk. If you enter a connector through the dark world and then go to the light world from one of the other doors and come back inside, whatever you get is in logic. Which in this case, just a heart piece, so not going to apply here. We are going to go after the other 2 items here in the bottom, but without the Hyrule Castle small key, those are not actually in logic. So Chex, unfortunately, not being able to do this trek with the boots, it's going to be slightly slower for him.
Yeah, at least they don't have to worry about saving this key with this guard, since they do have access to the back of escape through this sanctuary entrance being conveniently located in the Lost Woods.
Yep, they could also check the Dark Cross chest against logic with out a lamp. It's not going to be required. However, with a sword, it's going to be not too bad to check. Especially coming in from the light world, the rats and the ropes will not hurt you nearly as bad as they would if you were doing it from the...
Wow, early half magic too. I am really jealous of this seed.
The boots actually making the Dark Cross even easier, because if you know the timing, you can just kind of dash your way through. Chex is gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, walking with his sword out. Big Key of Thieves Town. Okay.
Interesting.
So that tells us the lamp will not be in the back of Thieves Town, and that's really about all that tells us at the moment. So Megawatt gonna go ahead and check this other entrance. We'll see. Chex may do the same thing, so hopefully it's not an entrance that cuts him off or distracts him from getting those. However, it's going to Death Mountain, so I say the chance of him being distracted from boots are actually going to be pretty high. Oh, no, he's going back out. Okay, so maybe he will get... It's good news for him to go back out this way and not get distracted by the mountain right now. Except for he's walking the wrong way, so forget I said anything.
I'm about to find oh, that's kind of an interesting connector.
Chex did not go out onto the top of Hyrule Castle via the Paradox Cave, I don't believe, so he has more reason to go over here with the mirror, unfortunately. maybe he'll go back into Paradox Cave and go check that last entrance.
Getting an old man return on Megawatt's side, which they're saving quit point with 2 exits. And just some bombs on the ledge.
So we did see another connector on the way out of Palace of Darkness Area 2 that it would be in logic for them to go through as a bunny to lead them to another part of the world. Check's gonna find out that he could have just, came out here without walking all the way over here. And I think he's considering going back. I don't know. Nope, maybe not. And
Oh, Paradox. Or not Paradox Cave, Mini Moldorn Cave.
so we found a lot of the big item places so far. That's pretty nice. I think Chex may be going through that other connector, which again is going to be rip boots for him. Ooh, and a hammer up on the Death Mountain. With the mirror, that actually opens up the entirety of East Death Mountain to the runners as well. Yeah, Check's gonna go through this other connector, which is in logic as a bunny. So unfortunately, gonna put himself off of the boots for a little while longer, but this could be required. We don't know yet.
Yeah, if it takes him to the Moon Pearl, that's going to be good for him.
I feel like Megawatt's probably a little closer to what the seed is expecting of you, unfortunately, at this point. Getting a hammer and Dark World access, or Death Mountain access, and a mirror. That all seems to suggest East Death Mountain as a thing. Finding out that it only goes to Mini Moldorm Cave, so he is going to go back through. So he may continue on to that one entrance he hasn't checked yet. So being thorough could be saving.
I think he's making that play to blind set now. And a tower up on the mountain today.
I think he also never checked the Light World entrance to this, so he does have a couple of different reasons to go back this way, since he didn't find anything going the other way.
And another small key to Ganon's tower.
Well, we have a hammer and 3 small GT keys. Could we get a hook shot?
And the boots, although out of logic.
Alright, Chex made his way to his boots. A little bit, had me worried there for a minute. Oh, apparently blue mail, which I guess I could have seen on Megawatt's side, but didn't pay much attention. Gonna get his boots, which I'm sure he's pretty happy about. And meanwhile, we found Hera. I think that was on East.
Yes. Another big key. All the big keys so early. Ice Palace.
Yeah, only 2 items. Only 2 items that he can really get out of here, plus a very valuable hint that says you can ignore the big key. Hey, it's a hook shot. What do you?
Wow.
GT's looking pretty nice right now. Could be another Moon Pearl on GT.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely looking like the game once our runner's there.
So Check's probably going to let's see, it was the other entrance to the castle, which I think he's going to right now. So I think he's going to be up on the mountain as well in momentarily.
And the Meyer Firelock side has nothing today for our runners.
So yeah, getting a couple of good hints about some of the worst chests to get to. If we could only get a left side swamp pit, then we'd be in business. But instead we get the hint that there's some armor in a basement, which they already got, so it doesn't really matter. The basement referring specifically to Blind's hut in this case.
Find a spectacle rock entrance up on the mountain. So if there's nothing in our other entrances, we might get a look and see what that is. And a Gina's hut.
All right, so they've about exhausted their possibilities for Pearl up here. So I expect a GT play sooner rather than later, and it's looking pretty nice with all these keys and this hammer and this hook.
Yeah, definitely.
That puts everything. It doesn't put a couple of chests on the way to the Ice Armos in logic, but it does put the actual chests around Ice Armos in logic.
And another connector. Over to desert.
So they have access to quite a bit of the world, really. But, so if they find the Moon Pearl, they can pretty much eliminate a lot of things. Just start working their way through a lot of entrances and Right, so we're gonna get a look at where Spectacle Rock goes today. Oh, we found another main part of Dark World here. He's gonna go ahead and explore that. I don't know if I'd want to do any more bunny stuff until I went to the left side of GT personally, because it seems like the Moon Pearl being over there is pretty likely. But with the mirror, you can check things out. We know this should be a connector, though.
Oh, the desert.
We can get a total of 4 items out of here, so it's going to go ahead and bunny revive and grab those real quick. Also get another hint, which will hopefully be worthwhile. Just going to tell us where the smith is today, which is going to make going to Agonist Cave specifically a little less attractive until they find a glove, so hopefully that's not where their first. Meanwhile, Chexhuman has done a good job of eliminating the Western Death Mountain, and now is going to go. Well, he's going to check this dark area first. I don't think Megawott did that, and then probably end up going to get his hook shot after that. We found one entrance to Turtle Rock.
And a sword in desert.
Yep, Megawatt is up to Master Sword, and it's actually in logic because we are seeing a. Wait, actually, was that the middle or the left? The right?
That was the right.
Okay, so yeah, Master Sword is actually in logic right now because that is one of those cases where you can enter one side as a bunny and re-enter the other side from the light world as Link, and that puts whatever you find inside the dungeon in logic. So Master Sword is fully available. And we did find our way to the desert ledge, so that eliminates a mirror spot. We also found out that the center of desert is the Turtle Rock connector that we were speaking of, so that means the back of desert is going to be.
Oh, Sahashala up on Dark Death Mountain. And Pod is our green pendant today.
So he can actually super bunny these items here. He's gonna have to bonk the wall, but then he's gonna have to super bunny again so he can come back in and get the chest. Because once you bonk or take damage, you deactivate super bunny.
Yeah, some swag Super Bunny hovering over on Check's side.
Well, I missed it. Looks like Megawatt's struggling a little bit to set up this second Super Bunny. It can be a little finicky, but he's... Yet another big key to
My
Misery
goodness.
Mire. So keys are being overall pretty friendly today. Check's doing some of these same checks on Eastern Death Mountain. Finds his way to Desert Right. Says, nope, I'm going to go back and check. What has he not checked yet? Wait, did he not get his hook shot?
I don't believe so.
How did he skip the hook shot?
It was in Hera. I don't think he's made it. Oh, did he
That
not
was
check
at
that entrance?
yeah, that was at the top.
Oh no. About to find Desert though.
Yeah, skipping that hook shot going to be a little unfortunate. He can still sequence break the left side of GT without the hook shot. So if he finds, say, the Moon Pearl over there, that will definitely eliminate a few things. Found Palace of Darkness.
Pot, which is our green pendant.
We also know the Moon Pearl is 100% not going to be in here based on where the...
Oh, and a mitt. A glove.
Okay, so we're slightly out of logic there, but gonna have standard Dark World access whenever we get the Moon Pearl for Chexhuman. Meanwhile, Megawatt's doing... Looks like he's perpetually hooking a tree. I don't know where he's planning on going. I guess he hasn't checked all the stuff around the northern light world. Probably checking Bonk Rocks. Don't know what he might find. Oh, looks like
Was
the
it
back
the
of Desert's
back
in
of
Bonk
Desert?
Rock. Finding a couple of useful slides there in the middle. Yeah, and for the trackers who may have missed it, Megawatt did see Ice Palace.
And back to GT he goes.
Yep, makes sense with having the hammer and the hook shot. Chex, unfortunately, skipping that is probably not having GT on his mind right now versus some of the other stuff he could still do as a... All right, so Stalfos room. This is still in logic. The only thing not in logic is going to be the firebar room and the rando room on the way to Ice Armos. So it's these four or it's those four. Of course, with all these keys, you're definitely going to check all that stuff on the way anyway. Just short circuit that logic a little bit because key logic is the easiest logic to short circuit. Meanwhile, Check's getting a hint that the Light World bumper ledge is a useless entrance for us. He actually hasn't checked any of South Shore besides coming out of that one connector, so he's going to use his mirror to pair a little bit of this together. About to find the Smiths, but he is going to be able to check the rock entrance on his way.
So far, the only check I've been able to really see is the book in Ganon's Tower.
Oh, I actually missed that. So
Yeah, it was in the fire bar room.
so that's still not quite in logic, but the other GT key could be pretty easily available. And they do have a master sword in logic, so we got a shovel, ether, and quake. Oh, 2 medallions. And there was a small key to Ice Palace, I think, on the way to all that.
I'm not really sure. I'm having trouble with both my streams here.
You might need to refresh it once they refresh on the restreamer, and sometimes it. And now we're to the stuff that's actually in logic. The last 4 chests. So Moon Pearl over here seems not too unlikely, but we did get a Bombos, which puts in the entirety of Ice Palace into logic. So that could actually be a thing instead of the Pearl being.
And it looks like we found Eastern over in the Light World shopping mall.
Well, that is 4 items that Chex can get right now. None of it's in logic, since he got his glove from a pearl locked spot. So, but it's still going to be quick and easy checks. I don't know. Now we found that Bombos medallion. If the pearl isn't over here, Ice Palace is looking pretty.
Yeah, and with that master sword, he can check the tablets now as well.
Yeah, the book's not quite in logic yet, but so as far as like where it wants us to go, it seems like Ice Palace is the thing, because that's all we really got out of the in logic checks was Bombos.
Yeah, true. And with that hook shot and hammer, if he manages to check that chest in pod before he goes, he could full clear.
Yeah, that would be the ideal situation for him, just to go get that glove first, since the logic only has us with like 4 or 5 checks in Ice Palace right now.
Oh, he's gonna do some Dark World checks over here in Kakariko.
He does have the mirror, and there's a few other things still open in logic to him before he dives Ice Palace. He may be hoping to cheat the logic a little bit and maybe find a glove as well before he tries to go to Ice Palace, which he's got to know is one of the things that the game seems to be pointing him toward.
Super Bunny Cave over in Dark Cack.
Yep, going through that as a bunny is in logic. However, getting the items is not. But since you get Super Bunny from dropping out of a hole, you just get the items as a matter of consequence from going through. However, it is a one-way trip, and he's going to see what he can do with his mirror first.
Oh, he's remembering Hookshot Cave.
Don't believe Chex has actually found too much of interest in Eastern Palace.
And the Big Key to Pod.
All right, well, Big Key City. Chex could get all this by hovering, so that would give him a little more information about where his hookshot isn't. But I don't know, like if he ends up finding a fire rod or something, and what he needs is an Ice Palace, he can get around the hookshot. But right now, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't hook locked. I mean, the boots are pearl locked, so there's like a couple layers to the logic going on right now that the guys are skipping. And the hook shot's in the light world, so it's technically hook locked because the hook is not pearl locked and the boots are pearl locked.
He's getting closer to heading to Pod, so that might be what he needs to get him to go to Ice Palace on Megawatt's side.
Yeah, that'll make it a lot more of an attractive play. Skullwoods and Desert Palace, we find out, are our 5-6 crystals on Megawatt side from the bomb shop. which is not in the worst location, but not super convenient. All right, Chex is back up on the mountain, so maybe he remembered that he skipped this entrance up here and wants to check it out, which will be good for him because it'll be.
Yeah, he definitely needs to find that Hera entrance.
Mirror on the south side, not really leading to anything helpful, but we do have a shovel that we're going to check. This is not quite in logic until we find a fourth cannon's tower key, but it is nice to pair all this together.
Yeah, that shovel's easy to forget about.
Oh, did Chex just not go to the top of Death Mountain? Did he find another way to get over to East Death Mountain? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he must not have.
I'm not sure what connector he would have taken to get over there. Alright, Megawatt's going to find his gloves, so he should be pretty happy about that. And Check's getting his third Ganon's Tower key.
And
shortly getting
Megawatt's grabbing that glove.
So I'm assuming that Chexhuman somehow made it over to East Death Mountain by not going up, and I'm not really sure which connector he did use to do that.
I think he checked the world and just kind of found himself in a loop up there, so he put it off. Oh, and a key on our floating island today.
Alright, incoming hook shot for Chex, so this will probably push him to Ganon's Tower fairly quickly as well. See the Ice Palace big key, not really an exciting key to see, but it does allow you to full clear Ice Palace the first time through, assuming that you can get a hold of your gloves and your hammer, which the runners have managed.
Yeah, that Ice Palace big chest, though, has shown to have a lot of value lately in these cross keys.
Check's getting the disappointing news that the one chest in Eastern is useless after he has already checked. Megawatt, meanwhile, going to do some of these other checks down here that Chexhuman already did. Don't believe Swamp was anything too interesting, but I don't think he's checked the dam.
Yeah, I don't think he's done any of the South Shore checks in either Light or Dark World.
Well, this was a hint, but I don't remember if it was a good one. Oh, it was the bumper cable one, so yeah, that's kind of a good one. Meanwhile, Check's getting the good hint about the Western chests and mire. Megawatt's going to go ahead and check the dam, and then he has a glove, so he could really go either direction and have it work out.
Looks like we're going to get those desert checks real quick.
I believe he already got a hint about the smith being in this cave up here, so he only has to check the other two.
He could have taken that portal over there and checked the tablet while he was there as well.
Yeah, that is true. He did not do that. Maybe he's going to do that after this? I don't know.
Looks like he's going to grab some Zora money.
Alright, Check's immediately going to Hookshot Cave and getting his mushroom and Palace of Darkness big.
That mushroom could be important. It really did give us a very, very early potion shop.
Yep, Hookshot's in logic, so could be. I think that Chexhuman's probably going to GT at this point. Meanwhile, Megawatt's going back this direction. Gonna get in his portal, so maybe Bombos. Yep, does look like it.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to forget you have that book. He could also check the entrance to desert with that book as well.
Yep, he would have to cut off his route, but there's nothing in the Dark World really for him to do anymore. So he could easily just dash down from his house and check the rest of South Shore if he wanted. Gonna get a small key to Turtle Rock. They already know where Laserbridge is, so really they only need one key for Turtle Rock, and they can really get around having any more. Chexhuman gonna make his way through here. He's gonna get a book, small Ice Palace key, and most importantly, I think for us at this point, given what we know of this seed, the Bombos Medallion.
Oh, a mimic cave over in desert today.
Just 10 arrows, so meh. I'm not sure where Megawatt's going though. And I don't know if he knows either. So he's gonna save and quit, and we'll see where he wants to go. He's not going to Ice Palace right yet. It looks like he may be. Nope, he's changing his mind.
Chexhuman didn't go into desert yet, so he doesn't have that Master Sword. So that's gonna make his Armos fight a little more gross.
Yeah, unfortunately. Looks like Megawatt's definitely doing Ice Palace now. Spider Sword isn't the worst, but having beams is definitely.
Yeah. About to pick up all of his medallions.
Yep, GT having a medallion sale today. So, based on the seeds, what it's given us so far, it seems that Ice Palace is the answer. Technically speaking, it's going to be in one of the not hammer or glove locked chests, whatever it is that we're looking for. Because the glove is sequence broken because the boots were hammer or pearl locked, and the boots led to the glove. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Moon Pearl here in Ice Palace in one of the chests that you're supposed to be able to get to, with the fun added bonus of just being able to one-shot Ice Palace since we found those. Chick's gonna give us our fighter sword Armos. He's gonna be slashing at these guys for a little while. I believe it's 12 slashes per Armos, and then the red one's gonna end up healing up, so it's gonna be another 12 no matter how many times he's hit that one. And after this, Chex may go straight to Ice Palace. I mean, he's got a few more mirror checks he could do though.
Always feels like it's so many more than 12 hits on those Armos knights.
Yeah. Doing it with the boomerang is the real feels bad fight.
Oh yeah, that's what, 42 or 45?
48.
Oh!
Alright, so there is one chest here to the right that's in logic. So this could be a Moon Pearl. We'll see, but he's going to go check the other stuff first. Chex, meanwhile, not going to... Oh, he's going to go... I thought that was the fairy in here. Oh, he's going to go check out...
This is a...
Oh, he's going to do the mirror.
Dark World.
So he's going to do the mirror stuff before he goes to Ice Palace. Should theoretically lead him to his Master Sword if he goes far enough. Makes Ice Palace a little less crappy.
Yeah, definitely.
Not going to be distracted by Super Bunny Cave either, it looks like.
There's our Moon Pearl.
Hey, what do you know? To no one's surprise. So, Moon Pearl in Ice Palace, which was supposed to be a logical double dip, but hey, we get to skip that little thing today and just get it in one go, so that's good to know. And the back of Skull Woods is one part of Turtle Rock that we have not seen yet, and I believe that is the right side. The big chest is the only thing we haven't seen.
Yeah, the big chest side.
We
Which
saw
we
the
now have. Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying?
We actually have the big key for T-Rock too, so.
Yep, should be the big
But
chest
no
in
fire
there.
rod.
Looks like Chexhuman decided to get a little distracted by Super Bunny Cave, so he may not get that Master Sword before he goes to Ice Palace after. I'll have to see where the other end of this is. I don't think we've seen that yet.
No, we haven't.
Gets to use his boots for with the Super Bunny. Oh, floating island. So
That's nice.
another small key to Mire, not that exciting. He's already seen most of the stuff over here though, so I'm not sure where he's gonna want to go. Well, I guess he never saw Sahasrahla, did he? Hey, big key to Ganon's Tower in Ice Palace. So what another exciting, fun possibility, and of course after we already cleared everything but the big chest on that.
Yeah, that Ice Palace big chest, like I said, it has had value for many of the races I've watched and many of the seeds I've played. It's been pretty important.
Alright, so I think the Moon Pearl's been the most exciting thing we found out of here. But we don't know if this is a pendant or a crystal yet. Check's doing the same Super Bunnies stuff to get the Sahasrahla items, gets his big key to Misery Mire, and also his knowledge about the green pendant. We may not have seen these checks on Megawatt side. I'm not sure.
No, I don't believe so, unless it was when my streams were reloading. Oh
Turns
yeah,
out,
we did see this because I remember seeing Megawatt in that room.
okay, well, it turns out to be a dark room, which may not be. I'm not sure which one that was. He went directly into a hole, but I couldn't tell which way he was walking, so I can't be sure which one.
And just a shield off Cold Stare today. But it is a crystal.
I do believe Megawatt did ask what the green pendant was, actually.
No, I think he did because I had already marked it down before Chex got in. Because he was super bunnying, and yeah, he did get that information.
Alright, so we're gonna get the save and quit to Old Man to check the back of this. I don't remember seeing where the front was, though. Apparently it's somewhere in the Dark World, though, since he's a bunny. This being a fairly easy dark room to go through.
Interesting location.
Megawatt forgetting that flippers are slightly essential to swim. Gonna go ahead and turn this mushroom in. He can easily access the potion shop, so he may check the potion shop and then go straight to the Dark World and check the stuff he couldn't check down there. That's interesting. I guess Megawatt got the cape somewhere, but I didn't see where. Maybe it was in.
I think it was on the desert ledge.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't see that check. So.
Oh, I told you I had a feeling that was important.
Okay, so the potion shop this week in entrance apparently having a really big special on canes because that's the third one I've seen in 2 days. PRNG on sale at the potion shop. Looks like Eastern is our red pendant, and I didn't catch if we had a map for her or not on Megawatt.
Yeah, that's a little concerning that Magic Bat is behind AGA 1, and there was no possibility of fake powdering.
They're still missing a lot of possibilities. For whoever's tracking Megawatt, he did a map check and Eastern is a red pendant. That's all I. Speaking of Eastern, he has found Eastern, and we'll get his 4 not so great items. Chex, meanwhile, needs to go to Ice Palace to get his Moon Pearl, but he does have gloves. He's going to check a little bit of that. Doing a little bit more as a bunny over here, which isn't necessary, unfortunately, but he
Yeah,
can
I think
possibly
he's
eliminate
making
some
that
checks.
Ice Palace play, though.
Yeah, he can eliminate a couple of checks on the way, actually, so not too bad.
And just a useless library.
Alright, here we go. Gonna get his Moon Pearl in short order. Doesn't have a Master Sword, but he's had a lot of practice doing low percent kind of stuff, so I don't expect it to hurt him too. And of course, having picked up his gloves as well, also the added bonus of getting his first crystal without having to double dip Ice Palace as the logic expected you to do. Looks like, oh no, Megawatt got the hint about the anti-fairy chest before he came to Eastern, so he is going to save that time and able to just leave right away. Megawatt showing off the bomb strats in the Pin Gator room. Nicely done.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see some fake flippering on Megawatt's side.
Potentially. He's got a lot of rupees here. He does have a lot of Dark World open to him, but probably going to have to do this stuff at some point anyway, so why not?
Yeah, it's definitely new information for us, so that's fun. Hopefully they remember that they weren't able to get that back chest in Blind's Hut in such a trolly location, especially without the flute.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on their mind, although they have, it's only the one item, so they probably won't rush to it. So he could go to the Zora area here and scout out the waterfall cave and get the Zora item and also scout out the ledge. The other option being, if he doesn't want to do that, he can scout out the 2 entrances and leave the Zora item. Just a hint NPC in there. We'll see if he wants to go for it. Yep. Oh, that is a pretty nice hint, though.
Wow, that is a very nice hint.
Hints being pretty okay this seed. Of course, we don't 100% know if Swamp is a pendant or a crystal yet, so it may not be 100% relevant, but it is nice. The hint is that Swamp Palace Small-Key is on Trinex today. Speaking of Small-Key, Zora going to sell us a Small-Key to Turtle Rock, which is pretty useless. Chexhuman getting his Moon Pearl, so he has found his way, and now he's just going to finish out the dungeon for his first crystal. And we find out that the old man starts at the laser bridge. Okay, that makes sense. Really terrible spot, though. And he's going to find the back end of old man going to be not much more helpful. Same region, different dimension. Chex getting his hint that the back of Skull Woods is going to be the big chest of Turtle Rock. And Megawatt doing a pedestal check, it looks like.
Oh, I definitely like this check.
Sanctuary is very close to the Lost Woods, or to the pedestal, so it's not going to cost a lot of time, and it's a pedestal seat.
Ooh, big key to desert.
Suddenly, the key to swamp becomes relevant no matter what. So, we already knew desert was a crystal, so that doesn't afford us any new information right off the top of the there. But other than as far as crystals go, other than knowing that we are going to have to do a lot of the dungeons today, not necessarily Aga 1 yet or Aga 2, but we're doing all the pendants and we're doing all the. We'll see if Chexhuman finds that same knowledge with his recently acquired book.
Still haven't found a lot of the dungeons.
They do have access to a fair amount of checks they haven't done yet, so we should see some of them soon, I think. Meanwhile, Check's going to do a little hammer time on Cold Stare, doing a pretty good job of avoiding the puffs so far. Getting above is always the best option, with the hammer hitbox being what it is. Hasn't really taken any damage yet, so doing nice. One of the puffs down already.
Finding the chicken hut in the bomb shop with nothing important.
Nicely done. I think he did that hammer Cold Stare without taking any damage.
Yeah, that was definitely a very nice fight. It's not fun to do that with the hammer.
Alright, we got Arcane, and we've got our Turtle Rock front. There's one item we can get in here, and you can just mirror out so it doesn't cost as much time to get to necessarily. Desert big key on the pedestal.
It looks like Megawatt's going to continue on with Turtle Rock.
He does have 3 keys, and he only needs 1, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know about doing it this way personally, but maybe he just goes to Chain Chomps and stops. I don't know. I guess Chain Chomps is dumb to get to no matter what direction you come from, so yeah. Chexhuman, meanwhile, doing a little bit of dark room action, or dark world action over here. He could check King's Tomb. I don't think he has yet, but I think he hasn't checked the Bonk Rocks either. Gonna find the dungeon that he's not gonna be able to do for a while. Meanwhile, Megawatt's gonna keep going into the middle of Turtle Rock, which is interesting because he knows where the left side is. So I don't 100% know why he want to go Turtle Rock this way.
Maybe just didn't want to climb the mountain again?
Maybe. He does know he only needs the 1 key, so, I mean, as long as he doesn't waste all of them, he's good to go. Well, we found Sick Kid in King's Tomb, it looks like. Just a heartbeat. I mean, I guess unless he finds a good way to get back to the mountain anytime soon, this is maybe the fastest way to do it. Hasn't found much of note yet, though. Could also get the Crystal Roller chest. Maybe he finishes this out by going out of the left side and then, which was on the mountain, I think, and checking the Dark World exit.
Oh, Spiral Cave over on Chexhuman's side.
I missed where that was, but based on where he was, I think it's in the Curiosity. Taking the Pokies out, but not going to Crystal Roller Room, so that's interesting.
a nice location for that.
Oh, we're getting a map check on Chex's side. Skullwoods is a 5-6. Thievestown and Turtle Rock are crystals. So does that leave us Misery Mire and Swamp as our potential remaining pendants? We already have the big key to Misery Mire and a cane, so I would lean towards that being our final pendant if I had to choose, because we are still a couple items away from Turtle Rock being it.
Yeah,
guess we-
that's going to be something if Swamp Palace is one of our pendants, because they're going to have to beat Trinex before they can get access to that.
Yeah, Desert as a final dungeon isn't that bad though.
True.
Megawatt. Nope, Megawatt's already. Where's he going? To the Dark World? Yeah, I think he's going back to the Village of Outcast area. Probably going to do some of what Chex has been doing, which so far Chex hasn't found a heck of a lot. I think a couple of checks we haven't seen here. Chexhuman does not know about the pedestal yet. No. All right. I also think that Chex already did some of the mirror stuff down there, down south, but he could get the digging game and the Stumpy item. Megawatt, meanwhile, is right in the same area, but doing a slightly different check.
Looks like he's going to do a spike cave check here.
He does have half magic and a cape, so it is in logic. Checks, meanwhile, going south as expected. I don't think he actually did any of the mirror checks down here either. He's going to get his information about Skullwoods and Desert Palace, which he already saw Skullwoods on. And Megawatt going to show a little spin speed action out of Spike Cave here. A good way to check it when you have the boots and also not cut yourself off of your.
Looks like he's heading back to GT.
He does have the ability to check one more item here in the tile room, and that check doesn't really get any faster no matter when you do it. So, sure. Maybe you get lucky and it's the fire rod, and you could just keep going. We got a mirror shield on Chexhuman side, which I think. Nope. Well, we have the cape already too. So, not necessarily the way we were just supposed to get all those big keys on these. I guess we don't know what Harry is either yet, so that could also be our final pin. So we have 3 possibilities right now. Chex never came out of here, which I think was the oh yeah, Spiral Cave. He never checked the or Spectral Rock Cave. He never checked the other side of that. All right, so that's our final Turtle Rock key in logic. So that's interesting. So we're a little closer to Turtle Rock being a thing, and also Swamp. Found Thievestown in the bomb shop. I don't know that we saw that on either side.
I didn't see that yet, but they do have the big key.
Yeah, we can obtain a crystal out of here. We would be isolating the big chest at least. Oh, it was in Hype Cave. That's the one they couldn't check before. That makes more.
But the map to Hera gives us some more information.
Yep, information that could be important at this point, since We do have to get all 3 pendants to get our desert base. So we'll see if Chex wants to go further without the small key. It's not. Well, no, he's not going to. Big key to Harris, speaking of. So Harris completable. Maybe it's our blue pendant. I gotta find the connector over here, which is desert, actually, so he can get these 4 items in here. And it's gonna lead him to Master Sword, at least. Megawatt gonna check all this stuff that Chexhuman actually checked as a bunny. Didn't lead him to anything.
He might be more inclined to check pedestal and tablets now with that Master Sword. At least remember he had the book. He has the book, so he would know it was a pedestal seed.
Yeah, some runners aren't a big fan of bothering with the pedestal until they start to run low on options. But the way the seed will be pushing him will probably be to have him clearing pendants anyway, since obviously he's going to need to. So he'll get there naturally one way or the other. Depending on what his pendants are, though, and his knowledge of those pendants, it could end up driving him to do those later rather than sooner, though.
Yeah, I'm all about that early information. Any information I can get in cross keys, I try to get as soon as possible.
Of course, Palace of Darkness being being one of our pendants is one of the most interesting parts, I think, so far. Because you need a lot of keys for Palace of Darkness to be a thing, and so far we've seen a grand total of 2 out of 6.
We are going to get a new check-in desert that Megawatt wasn't able to do when he came through here the first time. Oh, and it is Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, Check's almost missing the bomb. Big Key to Eastern.
Nice.
Well, once we get a bow, that's one of our pendants. Well, technically also a lamp, but that's a more skippable aspect of it. And the middle of desert, I don't remember where that came from.
That was Mimic Cave.
Oh, definitely missed that then. Alright, Megawatt. I think he might have got cut off in Skullwood, so he's gonna go back to the Dark World. Oh no, it was Turtle Rock. That's right. I did see this. Which Chexhuman, I think, already checked everything up here, except no, he didn't check this.
Yeah, we couldn't lift this the first time we were up here.
I think he already knows what all the drop downs and everything else is over here, though. He did just get the Harabit key, though. And he is right next door, and I think he is remembering that. Or, well, I don't know that he uses a tracker in a traditional sense, so he may be remembering that Hera is right here. Like, he remembers that Hera is, like, here somewhere, but I don't think
save and quit. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if he totally remembers exactly where Hera was up there. Could have obtained a pendant and or crystal, though, in that situation, right? Given where he was. Yeah, I don't think Chex tracks as much as other people do, so sometimes I think it throws him off a little bit. We don't yet know if Tower of Hera is one of our pendants or crystals, but we do know that either way that he's going to have to complete that, given that we are on a pedestal seed. But he's going to go ahead and turn that mushroom in first, which is good for him because he's going to get his Cane of Samaria for our 3rd mushroom decaying seed of the week. Meanwhile, Megawatt's going to do a kern jump over to the Dark Witch's hut and essentially catfish, it looks like. Maybe even go to the Dark Ice Rod area. Well, he could do another fake flipper to get to that.
Yeah, that was a very nicely done bomb jump there.
Yeah, it didn't strictly need to do this, given that he has the hammer and the gloves. However, that was probably slightly faster given the routing that he was taking. So nicely done there. He did also put a lot of the pod area to rest already, so he's only got a couple of isolated checks over there. All right, so Chexhuman has his cane. So let's see, what have we not seen over here?
He might be heading back to pod. Nope. Did he
Uh,
get all of the dark checks over here?
Chexhuman has done all the checks over here. The things that he has left in this area would be the Aghanim's Tower entrance, because there was no way into that, the Catfish, the Dark Witch's Hut, and the actual pod entrance itself. Which is about what Megawatt has to do over there as well. I'm not 100% sure Megawatt ever checked the cave on the outside of Palace of Darkness, which was the East Death Mountain Ferry connector. And we found Swamp, but we don't have a dam yet, so Megawatt is in a bit of a pickle right here. He had the right momentum coming out of that portal to try to avoid these zeros, but it got away from him, and now he is in a bit of trouble. But he manages to get out of it. Of course, when you fake flipper, taking even one death or one hit will be instant death. So he had to do a little bit of dancing around. Check's also checking the bumper cave connector for us, since he does have the cave.
Oh, Misery Mire on Megawatt's side.
And we found Turtle Rock Ledge on Chex' side, so that's a couple new checks for him. Oh, it's the dam, and he knows we're still with the mitts.
Titans.
Okay, well that's a little bit more access. But meanwhile, on Megawatt's side, even though he doesn't have the lamp, he can full clear. Oh, nope, he doesn't have a fire source, so he can't do the left side, but I think we got a hint for that anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, it was useless.
He doesn't have a lamp, so technically he cannot, in logic, complete Vitreous. But if he knows the dark rooms here, he can go ahead and take care of that. Doesn't have a lot of health, though, so hopefully he has a potion somewhere. That dark room is no joke. So Mitts only opens up a couple of entrances specifically, one of which we already know is nothing. The main thing it opens up is the smith chain and hammer pegs. Check's using the wrong item to try to get through that block, but I think he's going to take this as a shortcut back to the Palace of Darkness area. I'm not.
Another key to pod at Misery Mire.
And then he's going to change his mind because he may have figured out something else he wants.
Oh no, Megawatt taking a fall on the laser bridge at Misery Mire.
All right, Chex is going. I don't really know where Chex is. Fake flipper? Wait, what was that in the big chest? I missed. Oh, the fire rod is in Misery Mire. Well, that's a nice find. Chex using that connector to get back to Palace of Darkness. I'm not sure if that was technically faster, but good memory at least.
Oh, we're gonna see what was in that chest in Blind's hut that was left.
So fire rod means we can complete Skullwoods, and also means we can get to the big chest of Turtle Rock. Megawatt's gonna have to do these dark rooms in Misery Mire with very little health, so if he doesn't have a potion, this could get a little sticky.
He does have the cape and half magic, though. He might be alright.
Well, he does have to do this first hard part without having the cape activated, so... Oh, he got it right away, easy.
Yeah, just making it look easy.
Alright, so now the cape's going to become pretty important to him. He also doesn't have powder or anything here. So if he doesn't have a potion for Vitreous, he's gonna have to be extremely careful. Although with the cape and half magic, he can, and he has Master Sword, he can just kind of stand there and spam slash at Vitreous and take the like extremely safe route. Meanwhile, Chexhuman gonna do the catfish check, which was nothing, I believe. Looks like Megawatt may be trying to farm a heart or two, although if he just uses his cape and spam slashes, he'll be fine. Getting a little
got
bit.
a full magic drop. That's nice.
Yep, breaking out the cape. He may even do cape with NMG strats. Oh, he's gonna safe spam slash. I don't blame him at all.
Not at all. If you have it, take the safe route.
Still gonna have to be careful when Vitreous starts coming out here. It's gonna, like, you have to kind of like work your way around in a pattern so that Vitreous doesn't like get around and like jump on your.
Oh, he needs to get out of that slime before that cape wears off.
All right, here's where he's gonna have to be really careful.
Oh,
good.
he does. Nice.
Yep, not too bad. Got a small key Tower of Hera and one of our final pendant. So, that means that he is a bow away. No, he needs the Eastern Palace Big Key, but we know where that's at. So we're a bow away from being able to know how to get to our pedestal for our desert. All right, Chexhuman going back to the village of outcasts. He does have mitts, so he can do the hammer pegs and the smith chain out of this area. I think Megawatt's going back to the Palace of Darkness area to clean up the stuff that he hasn't done over there, which will show him where Swamp is and possibly lead him to the dam if he takes the bumper ledge connector. Meanwhile, Chexhuman getting his map check and knows now that Misery Mire is his third pendant. I don't know if he's checked the map to see what Eastern is yet, though. So he may not have the full knowledge just yet.
Yeah, some new checks on Chexhuman side. So we're gonna see what our Smith and some of these other item locations are. I wouldn't be surprised if he checked the tablets.
Yep, and Megawatt should be, if he remembers the bumper cave is up here, should be getting his dam and mitts shortly after finding Swamp here. And Chexhuman found the. All right. Well, we can't get to Swamp just yet, but we do have a piece of the puzzle for getting into Swamp at least. We do know the Swamp small key is on Tridex, so we are a ice rod away from being able to take care of. I don't remember where this came out that Chexhuman is going through it.
I think it took us to that desert entrance, the jump off.
Oh,
If
right.
I'm not mistaken.
Right, he knows the Smith is in Agnes, so he should be just trying to take a little shortcut. Chex has not found Misery Mire. It's in the dark ice rod area, locked by the flippers that he just found, so he probably shouldn't be too far away. His other main problem is that he doesn't know the pedestal is the Desert Bicky. Oh, he's gonna go defeat Hera, and he's going to actually erase the Smith that he just brought all this way because he's gonna get a crystal. So, Rip Smith, you will only have a few more minutes with it. Megawatt, meanwhile, got his mitts in his damn location. Doesn't have the flippers yet, but he's already done everything he needs to do with the flippers besides swamp. So he just needs to get the swamp. He's got a couple more checks in the pod area. Did we actually see checks open the Palace of Darkness entrance itself, by the way?
Yeah, he was the first one to get his mitts.
No, the Palace of Darkness entrance.
Oh no. I think he checked the connector, and that's how he ended up over there.
Also,
and a blue cane.
I think Chex just got a hint from Hera that told him where Misery Mire was. I didn't quite catch it, but chat's apparently saying that he. And Chex just taking a swan dive through the center hole there, unfortunately. Not sure what he's doing though. Did he apparently think that he skipped that chest and wanted to go back and check maybe? Because it looked like he took that dive on purpose.
Yeah, it did look like he walked into it. I wonder if Megawatt's gonna finish Thieves Town for us without that small key.
He could take the chance of isolating that one chest. He's got a lot of the things he needs, so. But we do find a Hyrule Castle small key and a crystal here, so Rip Smith. That Hyrule Castle key not being of much worth to it. So Chex needs to check his map in the light world to get the full crystal information, and he just did. So now he knows Eastern. Doesn't know what the pedestal is, so that could affect his reasoning and routing some, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Megawatt is going to continue and do the back of Thieves Town, while Chex is going to check the Ether tablet.
I don't think we had this tablet check on Megawatt's side. Nothing important though.
Nope, just a little bit of cash and checks. I think doesn't have much to do over here, or maybe he's trying to figure out if he does. I don't remember there being. Well, I could be wrong. He's doing something. Oh, he never checked the center of Turtle Rock stuff, maybe. So he may be trying to do that. Or going to, where did the castle go? One was Graveyard Ledge, I think. Where did this go?
Over to Dark Pod area.
Oh, so Palace of Darkness entrance, perhaps, if he hasn't done that, or he could prove me wrong and go some other.
He's going to Swamp.
That. I mean, he doesn't have the small key, and we know it's on Trinex.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But I
You
guess
can check
it's a
one
thing.
chest.
It is a check he can do. I don't know if I'd go this far out of my way to do it, but it is a thing. Don't. I think he saw the hint because he was in here too without the water. All right, just 100 rupees, so not much worth there. We'll see where he wants to go from here. All right, and Megawatt has yet to find anything super interesting in the back of Thieves Town of it. There is a crystal coming out of it, at least. Chex is going to maybe do some of these flipper checks with the which will take him to Misery Mire if he keeps going all the way, so that'll be good. He does know it's a pendant, so he could elect to not full clear. By the way, trackers, Chex has the cane of. He could elect to not full clear it because he knows it's pendant, but hopefully he will, because he doesn't know the Desert Palace Picky is on the pedestal, and he will need to do. Also going to lead to his fire rod, which will be a School Woods clear for him if he wants to get that out of. Our lamp is still at large, and I think we still have a few different places it could be, so I'm not going to try to bother to figure out where that thing could be right now, because we have a fire source, so who really... Just another bottle there out of the brewery on Lake Hialeah. Megawatt gonna get that 10 bombs out of the back of Blind's Hut, it looks like, and potentially the Crystal Roller room, since he has his mirror out. He can go backwards to the laser bridge to get to that. He can also do the Palace of Darkness entrance, which I don't think he has done yet.
There's some more chests available to us in pod as well, not necessarily in logic, but
Hey, rules are made to be broken.
yeah, live on the edge.
Chex is heading towards Misery Mire, so he knows this is a pendant, but it is 8 items, or 6 items he can get without a fire source, and he knows he doesn't need the 2 with behind the fire source anyway. Plus, he's going to even get a fire source in here, so all around, not the worst idea to go ahead and get this done. He's going to check the other entrances. And yes, we are going to get a Crystal Roller Room check from Megawott. Check's deciding to get the half a heart back with to get some beams, probably for the first room of Misery Mire. Makes that room a little less obnoxious. And nothing of consequence in Crystal Roller. Doesn't look like Megawatt's going to do the Palace of Darkness entrance, which is interesting. I don't think we've seen anybody check that.
It was a connector from Eastern. It was to Paradox.
Oh, that's where they came out? I was thinking they came
Yeah.
out on the sides. Okay, never mind. So that makes more sense. I thought they came out of the one, the Kiki Hutters.
No, in that it was the Hyrule Castle entrance.
We are going to get a right side GT check with this fire rod now, so that's 4 more items. 5 actually, because he could go all the way to the GT big chest, which I don't think that we have a hint for yet.
Yeah, no, we definitely didn't see one of those yet.
Meanwhile, Chexhuman and Meyer is going to get his fire rod fairly quickly. And again, we'll see if he wants to kill Vitreous, but he is missing a lot of stuff, and Vitreous will have an item for him, so don't expect him to be too interested in skipping. Alright, Compass Room of GT, I think is what that is in the vanilla game, had absolute crap.
Yeah, definitely. Always remembering to grab that key. I was wondering.
Using his hook shot to good effect in this room. You can technically just walk through there if you time it right, but there's a couple different ways you can get through a little bit faster.
One checks with a clutch heart refill right before going down into these dark rooms. Oh, he's mirroring out.
Ooh, yeah, this is what I was afraid of. The knowledge that
Because
this
it's
is
a pendant. Oh.
I don't think it's that he's scared of the dark room. It's just the knowledge of Vitreous is a pendant, so that's gonna That's going to be a bit of a delay on his side. However, he also knows Eastern's dependent, and he is now committing himself to a triple dip of Eastern. Because he is going to have to defeat the Armos Knights. So that's another unfortunate thing on his side. The Pyramid Drop is the Thief hideout. So Chex, unfortunately, disrespecting the pendants today, not knowing he is going to have to obtain all of these pendants. Vitreous didn't have a really good item. The main important thing is that it's a pendant, and we really need it in this.
Yeah, it was a small key to Hera, which we haven't seen that yet, so it could be important.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Chex without that knowledge is unfortunately like just really adding time to his run here for having to triple dip Eastern and having to come back to Misery Mire specifically, especially given where Misery Mire is. I don't know that I would do this even not knowing what the pedestal is, because it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah, definitely.
This can be the danger of knowing what your pendants are too early. If you need to do something, if you need to kill them to get stuff from them, you could try to game the system and not get your pendants when you need.
Wow, Megawatt's boss fights are on point today.
Yep, took that fire rod and turned it into a Mothula kill. Got himself a 5/6 crystal. I don't think we know what the Kraken Pyramid is yet, so that could come into play at some point. Although we would have to get the pedestal. Actually, given what we're still missing, I guess it could be the ice related to the ice rod or something. Who knows? That would really be about the only thing that the 5/6 crystals could lead to in this situation, I think.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Hype Cave yet, have we?
I don't believe so. Although if a flute turns up soon, we'll have a lot more entrances.
Yeah, the only entrances I don't have marked off at the moment is Hype Cave, the Bombable Hut, and Checkerboard Cave, which I could have missed one of those.
I'm fairly certain that we saw Hype Cave or Checkerboard, and the Bombable Hut is on Highly Island. We did find our lamp though. Yeah, the Swamp Small is on Trinax, which is why I say that Ice Rod is basically the only thing that could be behind the 5/6 crystals at this point. Since the Swamp Small, we wouldn't need to get the pedestal. But we basically need everything else at this point to get it, it looks like.
One Megawatt about to grab his flippers.
Yep. Also can't do much in Swamp given those flippers, and he's already checked everything related to the flippers, so those are not going to be that exciting for him. So where is our next progression? We haven't seen Purple Chest yet. What else haven't we seen that we can actually do that's still available?
Well, some more pod would be in logic now with the lamp.
We're still technically missing a Swamp Small or a Pod Small for more of it to be in logic. I think it's 4 for the back, so we do have the Basement of Hera, Purple Chest, really, like, just really dumb options like that are about all that's coming to mind. The Turtle Rock Big Chest also comes to mind, actually. We can get...
Yeah, we have access to that now. Such a gross location.
I think they've checked all of their connectors to this point, or done a pretty good job of eliminating those. The only interesting place a connector could take us at this point is to the mire. Speaking of Turtle Rock Big Chest, I think Chex is going for it.
Yeah, he might give us that check up on T-Rock as well, and hopefully get that information.
I really hope he does, although he is going to immediately be disappointed in himself for skipping Vitreous if he does get that information.
Yeah.
And also for triple dipping Eastern Palace, or guaranteeing that he has to triple dip. A quick swap mishap there. Oh, what is he doing? Oh, he's checking the pedestal first, I guess.
Oh, thank goodness, though.
Yeah, this will get him back on a better track, but I think that'll be slightly disappointing news given his actions on the ice rod area.
Yeah, it just hit him. I saw his reaction.
Well,
Well,
there's
there's
our
a
flute.
flute.
Well, that's a lot of entrances that we now have open that we didn't have before, so that is the progression we need. I guess he hasn't done a couple things in the center of Turtle Rock, which is why he wanted to do all this, or do the pedestal. Meanwhile, Megawatt taking the Smith on a world tour. Also probably going to erase him by completing here. So, Rip Smith.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
Well, I guess he's deciding that he would rather turn the Smith in and not erase. So the flute is good for checks. It gets him the ability to check some entrances he hasn't seen yet. He's got his pedestal knowledge now, so he'll know that he needs to go back for Misery Mire at some point. However, unless the Misery Mire has the bow, or Vitreous has the bow, which we know he doesn't, he may try to chain those together.
Although I don't think we're going to get too much more information over at Dark Misery Mire other than Hype Cave, which I think at this point has to be there.
If you're correct about the item caves that we're missing, potentially. I don't think we need any more dungeons. I don't know. I don't ever keep track of the item caves personally because there's so many of them. But I'll trust your checks.
Yeah, I started keeping track of them after like my first couple commentaries where I wasn't quite sure.
Check's about to get his lamp as well, so his return trip from Misery Mire to get Vitreous will be a little easier at least. Hopefully he does try to get the bow before he goes back there, because he can at least chain those two kills together. Meanwhile, Megawatt, remembering after he was about to check that is Hookshot Cave, and he doesn't need that. Finds his bombable huts though, and his other bottle. And I imagine going to turn the Smith in pretty soon. Megawatt also running a little bit low on stuff. I mean, he still has to defeat everything in Hera, so he may be a little ways away from finding that flute. Also, where's the Eastern Big Key that he doesn't have it again? Or was that in Hera?
It's the graveyard ledge entrance, not entrance, but it's the graveyard ledge, but it's over on the desert main entrance, which if he gets that flute, he might be more inclined to check.
Yeah. I think he's going to be most inclined to go after Hera to start with, so once he does that, he'll be running a little low on options. Although I'm not sure where he's going right now, because he's not going towards this.
Yeah, these connectors both just... No, this connector takes us to the Dark Witches, or to the Dark Hut right above Dark Kakariko.
I don't know if he ever did a Spiral Cave check, though, so...
Oh, maybe.
Meanwhile, Check's going to do the right side of GT on his side. There wasn't anything in the big chest.
No, there was absolutely nothing on this right side or the big chest.
Right, so, Megawatt remembering the hint that he doesn't need to check the Light World version of that bumper ledge, and now we'll see. Maybe he is going to take the Smith and get the flute after all. He does have the big chest as well.
This will be really nice routing for him instead of going all the way down to desert.
All right, well, that will put on a little bit more even footing then. He was running a little low on spots other than Hera. Nobody's done a purple chest check, of course. I think that makes returning the Smith a little less crappy as well.
Yeah, for sure. And he's probably going to grab that eastern big key because he's going to be right in that area. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't flute down and check the dark entrances before returning that Smith.
And we may see a bow in that area as well. Then again, it could be more pod keys to get us a bow in Palace of Darkness or something stupid like that. And we do have the Hera basement open to us as well. There's still a couple of possibilities for the bow that don't revolve around Hype Cave. Could even be an Ice Rod, which would get us access to all of Swamp. Ice Rod would... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just making a note he didn't go into the dark world there. Maybe he's just returning him and then gonna do it.
Yeah, it looks like it. Ice Rod would probably be the most delayed gratification item that we could find at this point in the Mire area. Because it would give us immediate access to Trinex and then Swamp, and then we would still need a bow to get our desert. Which I think we are an Ice Rod and a bow from no mode.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd rather find the ice rod than the bow, because at least that bow is stopping that GT climb.
Yeah, Ice Rod first would definitely be the situation to be in right here. And Check's getting a 4th key to Palace of Darkness, I guess that was in logic, apparently. So maybe that is a thing. Back up. Which she is going to go right to. So he knows he needs to defeat this, so I don't think he's going to want to use all his keys here, but he can check, he can hammer jump and check quite a few items.
And a key to Ganon's Tower in Checkerboard Cave.
Oh, so then we hadn't seen that yet, and that'll be our 4th key. So I think that means Hype Cave is all we're missing at this point then, if your list is, I think that was what we said, Checkerboard.
Yeah, and it should be in that dark mire entrance, I would think.
Alright, incoming Eastern Palace big key for Megawatt.
Although I don't think anybody came out of the GT entrance, so that could be our Hype Cave today.
Maybe. I don't think we've gotten a hint for it either. Did Megawatt not check the Mire entrance?
He must have, and I just missed it.
Didn't look like the rain was gone. Oh, he did? Okay, maybe I just am totally blind. Yep, I'm confirmed blind by chat.
Looks like he's gonna make that Hera play now. As we get our first look inside Pod.
So yeah, I think we have checked pretty much all the entrances at this point, haven't we?
Yep, other than GT.
So here at basement, it's looking more interesting, as well as the purple chest. Which I think may be the best in logic options left to us. I say that with all of the implications, the best, or all the sarcasm I can muster. Check's going to waste a key, apparently. Maybe save's coming in? I think he did save and continue, so...
Yeah, definitely didn't find anything of note.
Alright, and then... bottle glitching? And if he finds the ice rod over here, that'll be pretty handy knowledge. That would actually let out a lot of potential spots. Small key to Castle Tower. So, not a lot of information out of that. He may go right back and check the Harmless Highway. I'm not sure. He didn't really get anything out of pod, I think. But it looks like he's going to save it for now.
Yeah, I definitely don't blame him for that play. That was pretty nice. Getting that information.
Alright, Megawatt going to do one of our remaining gross checks that is about all we have, really. So, Hera Basement going to be income.
Yeah, it has to be something at this point. We know Pod doesn't have anything.
Well, I believe we're down to this or purple chest. Of course, just for funsies, both of those could be a Palace of Darkness small key, and then, you know, Harmless Hellway could have it.
True.
Chexhuman gonna go ahead and get a Mothula kill. The other fun thing that could show up is the Thief's Town small key.
Oh yeah, just fetch one-off locations for days. Oh, it's the bow.
Ice Rod go mode. Uh-oh. This has no potential to be disastrous at all.
He's not wasting any time going right to Eastern.
The good news of Ice Rod go mode, however, is go mode swamp.
Yeah, that definitely opens up the top of GT now, though, too.
Trading having to climb GT for go mode swamp might not be the worst trade in the.
True. I'd prefer neither. Well, go mode swamp and no GT. But for our runners.
Yeah. He could also find the ice rod in his path to the desert Palace Big. The Swamp Small is on Trinex, so in this seed, I would be very surprised if they did find that. So the best of all worlds would be to find the Ice Rod on the Armos Knights or on the Landmos. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of things you could really be doing to find that ice. However, they are somewhat limited since they don't have to go into swamp. That's basically the best news about having the bow where it was. I think Chex is going to do purple chest.
I don't think he ever turned in the smith. Did he?
No, maybe not because he's going that way.
Oh, there's Ice Rod.
Okay, so that is the best of all worlds, and Goomba is probably correct in that you are expected to get swamp before getting the pedestal, but yep, that is the best of all worlds for Megawatt is now in go without having to do anything related to the bow that would have been gross. So Chexhuman really going to need to go to the basement of Hera. Also, unfortunately, has not cleared Vitreous or Blind, so this is looking pretty good for Megawatt right now. Who, by the way, I think has actually seen the back of Desert Palace for our tracker.
Yeah, that was at Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he's doing bow side. Yeah, maybe a sword. We know there's not going to be one here for sure. Sword seems about the only thing you could possibly be interested in at this point, and these are semi-quick checks to do. Apparently, he's only even going to do the one. He's not even going to bother with the other. Checks, meanwhile, going to go to the back of Thieves Town. Not going to find what he's looking for, what he really needs here, but he is going to get a crystal.
Oh, accidentally mirroring.
All right, so overall, the bow was kind of in a dumb location, but they didn't have a lot of choices on their side to get it. And the ice rod was in pretty much the best possible spot it could be for this seed being what it was. So Megawatt just needs to defeat Helmasaur, defeat Trinix, defeat Argus, and pull the pedestal and defeat Landmolus. He's pretty much in boss rush mode at this. Chexhuman, meanwhile, is going to defeat Blind. He is going to have to go get the bow from the Hera basement, and then he will be able to go kill Armos Knights and Vitreous, which will unfortunately be a triple dip of Eastern for him. And then that will lead him to be in go mode. Right, using hammer on Helmasaur here, 17 hits. And going to go ahead and switch to silvers because Master Sword makes the second phase a little bit annoying. Takes a little longer that way. So we may be seeing a Master Sword Ganon at this point unless there's a sword on one of the remaining bosses. Although Megawatt could also check a few chests on his way in Swamp. Some of them are not hard to get to if you go to the ones. And Blind goes down easily on Chex's. Meanwhile, Megawatt is going to pull the pedestal, it looks like. Go ahead and get the Desert Big Key. May go ahead and run over and defeat Desert from that point because it's not that far. Of course, Laser Bridge is also at Flute 5, so that one is also not very hard to get to. Meanwhile, Chexhuman, unfortunately, looks like he's going to go defeat Vitreous without the bow. So that is going to remove his ability to chain these two things together and also make his Vitreous kill a little bit harder.
Looks like Megawatt heading to the back of Desert.
Ganon is at the ferry drop today. Alright, so Megawatt is choosing to do Desert first, probably hoping that he gets the sword out of this before doing Trinex. Of course, there's a lot of places that third and fourth sword could be, so we have no idea if we'll run into it in the few things that we have left to do in the.
I've had double swords a lot in Ganon's tower lately. Probably buried up there.
Yeah, could get lucky in those few chests in Swamp, but if, you know, one's on the left side and one's behind the vulnerable wall or something, then just a useless map on Land Molas, because we're definitely defeating Swamp, so we don't need to, and we already know it. A little bit of spooky action on Chex's side, nicely done. And off to Laser Bridge for Megawatts. Gonna have to use his hammer, but not that bad of a fight with his.
Not that it matters, but Hype Cave could also be at the crack in the pyramid too, I just realized.
Alright, well, we know it's not very hype for us today, although it could hold one of our swords.
Or both.
Check's playing a little ping pong with Vitreous. Gonna have to be really careful here, though.
Oh man, both runners testing my heart rate on those Vitreous fights today.
Oh yeah, Chex couldn't get the bow before coming here. I just realized, so I'm done. So ignore everything I said. At least in regards to the bow. We'll see if he goes straight to Tower of Hera to do that check, but it does not look like he's.
And Trinex is down for Megawatt with the key to Swamp Palace as promised.
Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and do a semi-go mode of Swamp, probably to attempt to get a sword out of a couple of easy chests that are. I mean, we're only at 208 on a pedestal seed and about to go into our last dungeon, so I'm not sure how Megawatt's feeling about their position right. It's a fairly good time to be where he's at, but he knows, he may still be nervous. Gonna go ahead and get a what was this? Turtle Rock key? No, Gans Tower key. So not gonna do him any good. And we'll see where Chex wants to go after this. I think he'll be down to like Purple Chest and Tower of Hera basement as his good option. Meanwhile, into Swamp we go. We'll see how many chests that Megawatt really wants to check out of here, but I assume he'll only get the very easy to grab ones, so probably not the bombable one here. Chex meanwhile going to the Dark World, so Purple Chest first maybe?
Yeah, I think that's about all we have left to do over here in Dark Kakariko.
Purple Chest it is. The only thing of interest this could really contain for us is a sword, but it certainly won't be enough to propel Chex forward far enough to do anything, unfortunately. And
There's
we
a
get
sword.
the bailout. Always a sword in Swamp Palace, right? So I expect us to stop checking chests now, because Tempered is really all we needed to get.
That was a pretty nice sword find. And it looks like Chex is finally making that play to Hera.
Yep, he will get his bow. And probably go straight to Armos Knights from there. Well, he could do Hera first, or House of Darkness first. It's not too hard to get to either one of those, really. This may, in fact, be the last thing Chex could even do at this point.
Yeah, he already did all those checks in pod. There's really nothing else. He really didn't have a choice.
All right, nice quick kill there on Argus for the second phase for our final Palace of Darkness key. So you were in fact expected. Oh, actually, might not be our final, but definitely proves that you were supposed to get the pedestal after doing all of this. The other one's probably just somewhere in one of the chests we skipped. Chexhuman getting his bow. We'll see if he wants to do Ice Palace or Eastern Palace or Palace of Darkness.
Hopefully he chooses Eastern.
Well, in
Yeah,
Palace of
he
Darkness,
is.
I was gonna say in Palace of Darkness he was unlikely to do anything but Helmasaur anyway, so it wouldn't have put him off too far.
True.
He may get, well, I don't know, this could be a quick game fight, so he may not get Gomo before Megawatt dot done, since it's gonna be hard to call. Megawatt doing a couple of Samaria strats to double up his spins here, but with Tempered, I'm not sure that he needed to.
Yeah, I was wondering if he forgot he had tempered.
Maybe he got it pretty late. Maybe he just wanted to show off some smarter strats. Into phase 3. I don't think Chexhuman is quite going to make it to go mode before this is done. Gets the torch glitch, although not strictly necessary with this. Maybe having a little bit of a case of nerves. Nice double at the end there, though.
And Ganon is down for Megawatt.
Get your GGs in chat for Megawatt with his official SRL time of 2:14.18. Meanwhile, Chexhuman getting his
Is this the right commentary booth?
it is. Welcome and GG.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG, how about that seed?
That was... I'm not sure how to feel about that. I got a lot of big keys early on that had me feeling a little bit, I don't know, overwhelmed. Feeling that I would stumble upon a whole bunch of dungeons and have a bunch of options. There were a lot of big keys at the start of that. I was really surprised just how plentiful they were. And then the sequence for Moon Pearl, like around mid-game, kind of a bit before mid-game, made me feel really good. Because I could have just... I was feeling like the seed was telling me to go to Ice Palace, just because of like bombos and all that, and both small keys and a big key. But I tried to hold off on it until I got a glove, which I'm really glad I did. It allowed me to single dip. I don't know.
Yeah, the sequence breaks were pretty powerful for the glove and the boots.
Oh yeah, the boots sequence break was ridiculous. That was so good.
Also, the ending of the seed being fairly friendly, given that you found the bow before the ice rod, and then the ice rod was just kind of like thrown in your face.
Yep, I figured I would just like clear Eastern Pod, pull pedestal for the big key, and clear desert before I decided to climb. But it is pretty nice that I managed to avoid not only all of Swamp Palace, but the Gauntlet in GT as well. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So how are you feeling as far as your position in the race?
As far as my position in the what?
Were you feeling behind, like feeling good about your time, given that it was a pedestal?
I felt really good about how I was doing up until I started to kind of run around searching for a mire connector while I was escorting Jeremiah. I was thinking like, okay, I've got only so many entrances left. I don't have a flute. I probably should start hunting down these connectors that I haven't visited yet. And that was just like led to a wild goose chase since my flute was just in the Turtle Rock big chest in the back of Skullwoods, of course. But that was like the point where it's like, okay, if I was ahead, I'm losing a lot of time now, and I'm not sure how far ahead I might have been if I was. So I got kind of scared around that point.
Well, you were pretty comfortable for a good portion of the late race. Unfortunately, Chex did not check the pedestal and noped out of Vitreous the first time he was in, so kind of put himself off that Harris small key and also that pendant.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
In a case of having knowledge biting you in the butt.
Yeah. I mean, like, what an item too. Like, not only a required item, but a required fetch quest item. So like even if you go back for it, you don't immediately know like, oh, that was worth it. Because you
Yeah,
gotta go back on another
by the
buy.
time he went back there, I think he was pretty low on options, so he only had a couple things to do before he ended up getting his bow. So next up, you will be facing Korik. How are you feeling about that?
I'm pretty terrified, to be honest. Korak is very renowned and very skilled entrance runner. It's like his mode, sort of, if I had to say it. So I'm definitely. I mean, Chex is also a really, really good entrance runner, and I'm kind of surprised I managed to beat him. But I'm not gonna feel quite so hopeful against Korak. He's really good. But hey,
That he is.
I'm glad to have just moved on in the tourney in order to get the chance to face him. So that's also pretty nice.
Yep, and if things you're not out even if it doesn't go your way. So
Oh yeah.
this being double elimination. Alright, Chexhuman is picking up his Desert Big Key, probably going to do the same thing and go do Desert first in the hopes of finding a sword before trying. Speaking of swords, that was a nice bailout sword there in Swamp Palace, also on your way.
Yeah, I was fully prepared to do Canis Maria Strats and Ganon, and even a little eager to, and then I just like, oh, it's a tempered sword.
Yeah, we could tell you were eager because you still did.
Yeah, I still tried anyway. It still is kind of faster, or at least it's a more consistent like one cycle of phase 1 and 2. Except I messed up the first phase, so oh well. Maybe next time. So how is Chex doing currently in the race?
He is about to hit the land molus. He is, of course, went into go mode as soon as he got his bow and went to Armos Knights.
Okay.
So he will be going to Trinix next, obviously. Or wait, did he already do Trinix? Apparently he already did Trinix and Swamp, and I totally missed it, maybe?
Oh,
Or
wow.
is he just... Wait, am I crazy, or did somebody just mark that off accidentally? Because I swear he didn't go to do those. Okay. I think he's going to Trinix next. I think somebody got excited, maybe. I don't know. Because, well, I mean, unless I just really derped hard and didn't see him go. But I feel like that was a lot of stuff to miss. Plus, I feel like he would have gotten that sword already if he had done all that.
Yeah, no, he went right from pod, pulled the pedestal, and went straight to desert.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think I was crazy. I looked at his tracker, it was all filled out, and I was like, wait a minute. When did he defeat all these bots? So he's basically taking the same path that you took at the end there, just a couple minutes behind, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's doing Trinex right now, then he'll go to Swamp Palace, probably pull a few chests in there for a sword. Get it right on his way as well, and be in good shape for Ganon. Of course, we have no idea where the other sword is because you guys were basically forced into the same path at the end there. So
Yeah, it's probably GT Ascent or rest of Swamp Palace. Just
yeah,
doesn't have a lot of other options.
I think the only other thing we didn't see that you had potential access to was the Harmless Hellway chest. Chex did a lot of Palace of Darkness checks before he ended up going back to Vitry.
Okay. Yeah, I skipped pretty much all of pod because the game was giving me like measly amounts of Palace of Darkness keys. It's like, alright, I'll just keep avoiding it so long as I keep getting so few keys. Because it seems like there's not going to be much important there.
Yeah, I think the max we found was 4 or 5.
Yeah, I ended up picking up, I think, 4. Although I think I messed up my counting somewhere and thought I only had 2 when I actually had 3 total. And which is why I went down bow side when I went to pod, because I thought I didn't have the keys to get there otherwise. which is a moot point because I had already spent a key on the front door, so I only needed one to begin with.
We just figured you were looking for a sword.
I mean, that would have been a nice, like, aside. Would have been a nice bonus if I had found one, but that was not intentional. If I had remembered how many small keys I had, and, well, moreover, the fact that I'd already opened the front door, I would have just gone straight back.
Alright, Trinex down for checks. Easy enough. And now we're going to get the Swamp Palace play. Semi-go mode for him as well, I'm assuming. Just picking up the easy chests. Really just only going to need the big... So we've had a fair share of pedestal seeds, I feel like, this tourney so far. And also shout outs to the third cane of Samaria at from the mushroom for in the last 2 days.
Yeah, there was one like that yesterday, wasn't there? Yesterday or the day before?
There were 2 like that yesterday. And two of the races in a row had that.
Goodness.
Yeah, entrance also suffers from a little PRNG sometimes. Sometimes it's related to where the entrances are, and sometimes it's related to where the item. Every once in a while, I get a grouping of seeds, and I'm like, hey, Eastern was just there yesterday. Alright, as expected, Chex just skipping straight to the big chest, gonna get his sword, and also not have to check anything else. Almost back to Argus. Don't know if he knows the poke dash strats for this, but either way, with Tempered Sword, it should be a fairly quick kill. I guess the good news is that you didn't have to go upstairs GT or do the magic bat today.
Oh yeah. It's always kind of a rough feeling whenever Magic Bat, or whenever an item in general shows up in that dropdown, or the GT dropdown. Like, obviously the ideal is Uncle in the Lumberjack tree, and then the useless one in the Pyramid. But you can't always have that.
Yeah, usually it's the ideal spot is to have, if there's something there, have it be one of the scoutable locations, and not have it be one of the mystery. Alright, Chex has Argus down, easy enough with this set of equipment, and should be going straight to get him. Finishing around 2:30ish probably. Not sure. I guess he's gonna take the long way. I think it would have been slightly faster to flute, but it's not too far away down. Gets a nice 1 cycle for the first cycle there, or first. And 1 cycle for the second phase. Alright, already into phase 4, so this should be over fairly quickly. Or almost into phase 4, I should say. Oh, nice double before he even has to deal with the torches. And set up for another double, and we are done. Get your GGs in chat for Chexhuman, who is going to finish with an official SRL time of 2:29:13 and should be joining us momentarily.
GG's to Chexhuman.
Alright, just need a minute for him to join. Alright, and we are joined by Chexhuman. Chexhuman, how are you doing?
Good. GG's.
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 So, what do you think about that seed?
This is pretty tricky.
Yeah, I found out the early knowledge of pendants, getting the rare bite from having that knowledge, and unfortunately dipping out of Vitreous.
Mm-hmm. What was that Harris Mall key? Was that on Vitreous?
Yep, that was. So you had to go back to that before you could really get to the in.
Okay. Yeah. Doing things in the right order was really hard here.
Yeah, it had a few little pitfalls there. There's a few nice sequence breaks available at the start, but the mid game sequence was kind of bottlenecked a little bit. Have the small comfort of having a go mode Swamp Palace at least for your troubles of having a pest.
Right. So, an hour, 2 hours and 30 minutes feels about right here.
Yeah, overall, still a great time for basically doing all the dungeons.
Yeah.
Get to skip the GT climb thanks to the ice rod being in the friendliest place it could possibly be after finding that.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be facing Malagord, I believe, next.
Okay.
So how are what are your thoughts about this seed overall?
I'm just wondering if I had any advantage in this during the race.
I think you found the flute first, but Megawatt found it fairly quickly after that. So I don't think there was any given point where there was a strong advantage on your side. There was
I
a
certainly
lot
forgot that I had the flute. Where was flute again?
It was in the Turtle Rock Big Chest in Back Skull.
Oh yeah.
So you had a lot of even footing for the most part. I think in the mid-range game, it was basically the Hera small key, obviously being the big thing at the end, and Megawatt had the pedestal knowledge first, I think.
Oh, okay. So Megawatt knew to go to Vitreous.
Yeah, he knew before he found Misery Mire that he was going to need to do.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the early game, you guys pretty much did all the same checks together, did the bunny glitches to get the boots. I think Megawatt had them slightly earlier, but it wasn't anything huge that would have offset the race. So there wasn't much divergence until probably after, I'd say about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah, overall your paths were basically the same, other than you having that pendant knowledge and then opting out of it. So just not having the pedestal knowledge was the big effect.
Well, even if I did, then I would have the other advantage of getting the bow. So that's a double whammy.
Yeah, just one of those things where a map check could lead you astray a little bit, because it's understandable to try to avoid pendants if you can.
Right. It's also just really slow to get to Vitreous, I guess. I don't know. So I'm not sure if what I usually do there. I think, yeah, I guess if I didn't know, then I would go to Vitreous probably. Yeah. Okay.
Well, overall, still
didn't really think about it.
yeah, overall still doing did pretty good for pedestal seed. You guys both did a great job with this. Make sure you guys follow these runners. They put on a great show for us. And thanks to our trackers, which
By the way, do you remember? Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you remember if I beat Hera before I went to Mire?
I think it was after.
Oh, okay.
You beat you beat Hera when you grabbed the Smith the first time.
Right.
So you already had Titans.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you might have. No, I think you went to Mire before you went to Hera.
Right.
I don't 100% remember, so I might be telling you.
That's okay.
Thanks to our.
But thank you for commentating, of course.
Yes,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem. Thanks
Yeah,
to
thanks to both of you guys for commentating.
Oh, for sure, it was a great match. You guys did great.
thanks to our trackers, Norinato, and I honestly have no idea how to say that. So just check the chat there to get that. I'm afraid I'm gonna just totally butcher that, so I'll let you read. And thanks to Jinxie for co-commenting with me, and to ZSR and Norinato for restreaming us. Do you have any final thoughts for the before we move on?
No, thanks again.
Yeah, I definitely think you covered everything. It was a great race. I look forward to seeing each of them play their other seeds later in the tournament. It was definitely fun to watch. It was lots of twists and turns, and then finally just bottlenecking to pretty much everything. But it was interesting, and it was great, and it was beautiful execution on both sides.
All right, I think there is a race going on Oh, yeah. There's a quirk in the commentary. If your mic is active, it just puts you on the comm thing. I think there's a race going on Zelda speedruns. Maybe? But Norinato, I'll let you send them in the proper direction for whatever else we might have going on right now. But GG to the runners, and thanks to all involved. We'll go ahead and wrap. Have a good day.